And if you follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/ZFM Stereo, you might already be aware. Now, I know some of us have come into contact some way, somehow with Nigerian movies, and we've either watched them, we're either obsessed with them, we're either over them, I don't know. But there is something that we know about Nigerian movies as Zimbabweans. And in studio today, we have a former Nollywood actress. Not to say that she could never get into it again, because looking at her, I think, she's about to sort of star on some sort of set right now. But, we have a former Nollywood actress. She is Zimbabwean. She has spent some time in the UK, some time in Nigeria. So in the next couple of minutes, we'll find out her story and find out why she moved back. Why she's home right now. She hasn't moved back, but why she's home right now, and what her plan is with regards to the arts industry in Zimbabwe. Danielle Allen, good evening, and thanks for joining us on ZFM.
Hi, Ravenico. Thanks for having me on your show tonight.
Okay, so you grew up here?
Yes, I did.
And then you went to England?
Yes.
How many years?
About 15. 15 years in London. And then Nigeria, the past 6 years.
Okay, so I know that you explained to me why you moved to Nigeria, but tell me again.
Okay, initially it was it was the purpose of Nollywood. I was in Nollywood for a couple of years, and then I went into running my own franchise for the Body Shop. So I currently do that at the moment. So that's why I'm there, and that's why I've been there for so long.
Okay, now you are bringing fashion to Zimbabwe. You have a fashion line?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about it.
Okay, well, TIR Fashion House came about because I'm passionate, extremely passionate about fashion. I've been designing for a couple of years now for myself, for friends. So I just decided to take it to another level and flip it into business.
Okay, so now let's look at the time that you've been here. You have obviously observed quite a bit. Now, what do you think is missing when you look around the country with regards to your areas of interest? And your areas of interest, obviously, fashion, travel, film, and beauty. So tell us what you think is missing.
In terms of fashion, I attended Zimbabwe Fashion Week, and I felt what was missing at Zimbabwe. It was a very good show, etc. But I just felt a lot of the designers didn't bring Africa to the table. Everything was too modernized, etc. I thought I was going to see a lot more African pieces, but I didn't. So I just feel that Zimbabwe is lacking in that sense. There was loads of good designers, don't get me wrong, but I feel if they, take it, I don't know, if they kind of use their own fabrics, use what they know best, as opposed to going
make it more local.
Exactly. That's what's missing anyway.
Okay, that's with regards to fashion. And you've been around our stores and boutiques, so are we getting enough exposure to fashion the way the world knows it? When you look at the stores that are available right now to Zimbabweans who want to shop in Zimbabwe, who can only shop in Zimbabwe, are we getting the best end of the stick?
I think the exposure is definitely there based on what stores and boutiques have. With new media technologies and more people getting access to what's out there, but I think the exposure is definitely there. However, what still needs to be measured is what this exposure translates to on a more measurable scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's been criticism of the Chinese, products flooding our market. For example, the clothing stores, especially in town, where, China is literally everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So do you think that is ruining our fashion as Zimbabweans? Because oftentimes we're getting the lower end of the high-end fashion in these other countries, and it comes here, and that's what we're forced to buy. So do you think that the Chinese market is destroying our fashion in Zimbabwe?
Well, I definitely think Chinese imitations are killing our industries. This is not only in Zimbabwe, but throughout the continent. And what this does is thwart local products. Because of this, in addition to this, I also feel on a more broader scale, this affects the appreciation and endorsement of locally influenced products. As a result of this, Africa continuously being a borrower of trends, etc.
Yeah, we do borrow trends. Okay, so you're African, but you've had exposure to England and to Nigeria. Today, I don't know, are you dressed? With your outfit, I don't know, what is this inspired by? Is this Western or Eastern? Because it looks like a combination of both.
Yeah, it's a combination of both.
Yeah?
And definitely Eastern, Western.
African to an extent, I guess.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just the element of Kutsiga. I think that's the only African part.
You know?
I like that's all that's African. If you do want to see Danielle and what she looks like and her beautiful garment that she's wearing, do log on to Facebook. I've put a picture up, facebook.com/ZFM Stereo. Okay, if you have any questions for Danielle about film in Nigeria, if you want to know what movies she acted in so you can download them, do call us. The phone lines are open, 0772-168-045. You can also WhatsApp us on the same number, and again, right on Facebook, or tweet me at Ruby Parry. Now, you're designing clothes now. So who are you designing them for? Who's your market? Or your target market?
Target market, to be sincere, is actually everyone. I'm not...
you think everyone can afford something that looks like that?
Do you know?
I had the designers from Zim Fashion Week, and I asked them the same thing. I said, you guys are making beautiful clothes, but who are you making them for?
Do you know what? I've decided, when I was designing, right from when in Nigeria, I looked at the market. I came back in June, done a market research, etc. And I feel that, yes, don't get me wrong, I definitely have higher-end scale type outfits that, yes, only the so-called rich can afford, but I definitely do want to target the mass.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to create, and I have created things that and like a working class person can afford.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because that's important. Because
Yes.
why I asked about what you saw in the shops and all of that, sometimes you look around and you think that Zimbabweans are being shortchanged. So if our own local designers are not creating for Zimbabweans, then who's going to save that part of life? You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be able to walk into shop, buy something they can afford, and something nice.
Exactly.
Okay, now, and I, again, to revolutionize fashion in Zimbabwe, you've got to create fashion for the masses, right? Not just for the majority. So I guess you have kind of, covered that. Because
No, exactly.
Okay, and how is your fashion house going to benefit Zimbabwe? Are you going to employ staff here to design, to sew, to market, distribute? Because from my understanding, your workmanship is done in Nigeria.
Okay, apart from contributing to the fashion landscape in Zim, TIR Fashion House already is and aims to continue to benefit Zimbabwe in the following ways. I would like to create jobs. Although initial work was done in Nigeria, our store employs Zimbabweans at the moment. In addition to this, one very important thing we endorse is the upskilling of our staff from seamstresses, etc. So in addition to this, in the future, we plan and have already had consultations with other stakeholders and partners to explore possible collaborations in the future.
Okay, so you are working on it
Definitely.
in the future, because this is important, guy. We don't want just to bring these garments at Nigeria, then we need to create employment.
Definitely.
This is a serious problem, and the skill set is there. There are a lot of people that are adequate, that can sew those fine beads onto your garments for you, so we need to make sure that you know that, because you've been gone for so long. Maybe you think, because Zimbabwe,
not at
but
all.
It's not like that.
In future, I definitely kind of probably want to bring people that would be able to train people to do exactly what I want.
Okay.
So that's what I'll do in the future.
All right. Okay, so we've got some messages coming in from WhatsApp, and people already talking about your Nollywood career. So we'll get into that right after the break. Stay tuned. This is 1635. I'm Ravena Kopariniotro speaking with Danielle Allen right here in studio, so stay tuned.
This is award-winning radio broadcasting, ZFM Stereo.
Indeed, we've done it again. ZFM Stereo News has been rated by the Media Monitoring Project of Zimbabwe as the most credible electronic media of 2013.
Zimbabwe's fastest-growing station, according to independent media research.
We celebrate this recognition with you and assure you that we remain committed in giving you world-class news.
From border to border, from pillar to post, we have every reason to boast. We are ZFM Stereo.
So send us your comments and news stories to your news at cfmstereo.co.zw.
Log on to cfmstereo.co.zw. Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter at ZFM Stereo. For factual, credible news when all sides of the story are told, tune in to Z for another year of cutting-edge news coverage.
Oh, yeah.
ZFM Stereo. First in radio, first in world-class news. It's 1635.
Welcome back to 1635. I'm Ravena Kopariniotro in studio tonight with Danielle Allen. She is fashion, travel, film, and beauty, all in one. And she is a former Nollywood actress, and I can see all the questions here are really focused on what it is that you did in Nigeria with your movies. Okay, so let's get into that now. Okay, this is what people want to hear about. All right. So you decided to move there. You explained to me before that was a strategic decision for your career. So let's start with the basics. Okay, what are the movies that you acted in?
One of the most popular ones was called Girls in the Hood. I've acted a couple more, but that one was what brought me to light.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your main one. So people are going to find you, they'll find that one.
Yes.
Girls in the Hood, okay? And then the question again is, my name is Nicola Chiangwa. I want to know some of the popular Nollywood actors and actresses she has worked with, and if she is still going to do more of Nollywood.
I've got a few close friends: Kate Henshaw, Mona Lisa Chinda, Mike Ziranye, Desmond Elliott, Susan Peters, just to name a few. I like a few of my close friends. So apart from the fact that they're in Nollywood and I've worked with a few of them, they're still close to me as my friends.
Okay. And would you ever act in Zim?
I'm open to it. So let's see how it goes.
That's a diplomatic answer. You're open to it. So what? Somebody's got to approach you. What would it take to create, for example, a Zimbabwean version of Nollywood? I asked earlier about Zollywood on Twitter, and people weren't feeling that name. But I thought that's how you do it. I mean, there's Hollywood, then there's Bollywood, then there's Nollywood. So I was like, look, I'm not that creative. Sorry, all right. But I just suggested, I was like, how do we create our own Zimbabwean version of this film industry? Because it's quite big, and there's potential in it. So what would it take to do that in Zim?
What would it take to do that in Zim? I don't know how your production is here. In all fairness, I mean, I haven't been back for long, and I've been so focused on my fashion label, etc. So I'm yet to see what's out there in terms of production, in terms of who's who, you know. So I think I'll look into more of that, and then maybe I'll get back to you.
And what do you think would be some of the themes that would come up? Because, for example, Nigeria has its stereotypes.
Yes.
There's the rich man, and then the struggling girl, and then she gets brought into the family, and then the rich man cheats, and then, oh my gosh, he finds Jesus, and then he's sorry, and then the rich girl's moved on, and then, you know what I mean? It's a lot of the themes are quite similar. Sorry to stereotype, but you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like Zimbabwe, or I mean Africa itself, is being influenced by Nigeria big time in terms of Nollywood. So I just feel, in terms of scripts, etc., you guys will probably follow suit. I'm sorry to say, but you probably will come up with things like that, you know, because it interests everybody, etc.
Okay, so, but there's no particular themes that you can think of besides us being influenced. Granted, that's expected. It's a global village that we live in. We're influenced by everywhere, west, east, north, whatever. But in Zimbabwe, if you were to say, you know, you pick a movie that has popular themes, would it be based around politics? You know, would we talk about our political landscape with MDC and ZANU-PF? Would we talk about small houses? Would we talk about, I don't know, what is it that, you know,
Yeah,
you
that
find
small
is
house
dominant?
thing. I've heard about that.
Yeah.
So you probably hear a lot about that small house, and I mean, there's a lot of churches, and you probably would kind of get the same kind of storylines, to be honest with you. I mean, small houses, you said, in Nigeria, they look at it second wife. It's the same kind of thing, but it's obviously here, it's just a different terminology. So scripts might be similar.
Okay, fine. All right, now somebody's asking, this is Bassman Dawn. Randi, does she have her clothing line on Instagram?
Yes, I do. Follow me at TIR Fashion Hub. That's my name on Instagram.
TIR Fashion Hub.
Yes.
Okay, that's on Instagram, so people can find you there. Okay, and in terms of your fashion, where can people find it?
We're launching on Saturday, and our store is in Borrowdale, Helensvale, Whisper Avenue, number 725.
Okay. Now, I want to ask a little bit about the travel aspect, right? Now, a lot of Zimbabweans can't afford to travel, and they can only afford to watch TV or listen to radio, for example. And, you know, when it comes to the film industry, or maybe even be influenced by films, and in terms of you being passionate about the arts industry, what can you do to maybe educate the Zimbabwean who can't travel about life outside?
What would I do? What could I do? Could we move on to the next question and come back to that?
And then somebody
Let me
has said,
think about that.
somebody says here on WhatsApp, what's with the you guys? Kasi hasimu Zimbabwean here.
Your name is Zimbabwean. Thank you very much.
Unototaura.
Ndinotaura.
Saka ukuregerere kutaura. I mean, what's the problem here?
No, totally. I'm fluent in Shona. Fluent.
Oh.
Yes.
Are you married?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Okay. Anzi, Okay, she's as pretty as she sounds. Okay, this is somebody who's obviously visited
thank
Facebook
you.
and seen your picture. Okay, now, what do you say of the stereotype of, okay, for example, we've got a new minister of sport arts, sorry, not sport arts and culture, but, sport arts and culture really, and that's what your department falls under, your interests. And I want to hear from you in terms of actively participating in the growth and revolution of the arts sector in Zimbabwe. What do you hope for? What do you see as the way forward? What vision do you have for your home country? Because you seem to have benefited Nollywood so well. You seem to have benefited from the UK system. But now, when it comes to bringing back your benefits home, what is your future for Zimbabwe?
Bringing back to Zimbabwe, I plan to bring so much back in terms of fashion. I definitely want to put Zimbabwe on the map in terms of fashion. I feel we have potential. We have a lot of Zimbabweans that are well-traveled, i.e. myself. So I feel what I want to bring is fashion, on a total different level. So that's what I want to bring to the table.
Okay, and tell us about this Nigerian men thing. How are the men in Nigeria? You're not married yet? Nigeria, Danielle, sure.
Sati. Nigerian men.
I don't know about that.
No.
I don't know about that.
No, for real. Come on, if I had a hobby, do you think it would allow me to move back?
This might be true.
But Nigerian men, to be very honest, one thing I admire about them, they empower their women.
So our men don't.
Do you know what, Ravenica? I have not dated a Zimbabwean guy.
No, Zimbabwe yakatera mino zvako chachagwa. Watotara Instagram yako amino zvako. Vanhu vakateya nzeve moti vange vaona picture yako amino zvako. Anyway, so you've never had the privilege of dating a Zimbabwean man.
Sweetie,
you haven't lived.
You
really haven't lived.
That's why I'm moving back. Like, hello.
I think you must. It's important. Yeah, because there's always that connection.
Yes, exactly. We speak the same language, and that alone.
And if you've been in Nigeria, Pesapa and Jaramba, it's a sign.
Jaramba, I'm back.
It's a sign. All right, Nanzi, Danielle, keep lifting Zim's flag high. I'm already a fan. I'm Nicola. Okay, that's Nicola again.
Thank you, Nicola.
And then Janzi, Chris from Glen Lawn. Do you see any prospects of getting into Hollywood or maybe close to home, South Africa? I would love to see you. I would love to see you making your debut there.
Wow, that's interesting as it goes, because SA, South Africa, I'm looking to delve into that country through my fashion. Would I act there? Maybe. South Africa is definitely on the map in terms of, what they're producing and stuff like that. So, yeah, why not? Yeah, so watch out for that.
Okay, good. Now, just we're going to have to wrap up soon, but sorry, this is a comment here on WhatsApp. People like things I'm telling you. All right, okay, so I want to know from you now, in terms of travel, right? You're a young person. You're in our 16 to 35 age bracket. And when we look at the exposure that you have got, it's given you some sort of leverage. Do you believe that travel and exposure are the key to success?
Yes. I'm actually going to say yes to that question, because I feel the travel, I've traveled to most places and I've learned along the way, and as you learn along the way, you tend to put all those things into one, and it helps you become who you become, and it's helped me become who I've become.
So do you think we can call those young people who are sort of stuck in Zimbabwe disadvantaged? Or will they still, is it still possible, especially in the arts industry where exposure does give you a bit of leverage, but, can we call them disadvantaged, or they can still make a path?
Disadvantaged is a harsh word, but, reality of things is that yes, in all fairness, because travel is key.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have to wrap up, but just the beauty element, right? The body shop.
Yes.
Now, this is something that a lot of girls love a lot, the products and all of that. So can we expect it?
The demand is there, so yes, I'm a businesswoman, so why not?
Yeah. If the demand is there, you're gonna meet that demand. All right. Okay. So there's questions. People keep asking. Which movies have you featured in? Any plans for Nollywood in the near future? If you have just tuned in, Danielle did do some acting in Nollywood. She did mention that Girls in the Hood was her big break as a movie.
Yes.
So I'm going to go traga. Girls in the Hood, traga. Danielle Allen, I'm traga. Futhi by Instagram. What did she?
TIR TIR Fashion Hub. Follow us.
Okay, and basically, yeah. So look for that, and that's her history of where she's gone, and she has told us a bit about her going forward. She's open to a lot in Zimbabwe, in the region, and I do challenge you to do something for the film industry in Zimbabwe. I see that there's a lot of potential there. Have you interacted with any of the actors here locally?
No, I haven't, and I definitely am open to it, and I can't wait to meet. I mean, I'm still stuck in what I'm doing at the moment, so it's a bit hard, but as I settle, I think I'll be open and to meeting a lot more people.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we've got a proposal here on radio. This is Engineer Armstrong Muzuva, and the ladies.